So I'm happy to have my mom back on the show today. The last time she was here, she told everybody that she's been a nurse for almost, mom, 40 years? Has it been 40 years?
Going on 42.
42
In the
years
nursing field.
in the nursing field because you were a CNA,
Yes.
you were
Like,
LVN,
yeah, LP.
in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and then in Arizona, they call it an LPN, licensed
Uh-huh.
practical nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been retired for how long?
And then I went, you forgot about the registered nurse. I went to
Oh
school.
yes, registered nurse, registered nurse. You got your RN in what, 2000? No, no, no,
1990, 1995.
1995. Okay, and that
Mhm.
was after being a LPN for many, many, many years.
Many, many, many years. Yes.
Okay, and then you retired a few years ago,
2013.
and you decided that as of this year, you decided you was not going to renew your nursing license.
Correct. I decided that I'd done served enough time.
Let somebody else do it.
Yes, the young people. Let me get
Oh,
on out the way so the young people can succeed.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, it's good to know when to sit down. Some
Amen.
people don't know when to sit down and they just keep on going and going and going and then they just burn themselves out.
Absolutely.
You knew when to stop and enjoy life.
Absolutely. Stop and smell the roses.
That's what
Watch the
me.
ant.
That's what me
Watch
and Robin was
your
talking about.
flowers grow.
Yes, watch the flowers grow. Yeah, me and Robin touched on that a little bit. But I think it was like the last time we talked. But anyways, mom, so let's talk about health. We wanted to talk about health and you wanted to add value. I wanted you to add some value. You have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the health field. So yeah, get everybody a recap of who you are. I gave them a little recap. You can give them another brief synopsis, and then we'll get into the health topic.
Okay, well, first, just let me, I like to always do my disclaimer on information that I'm sharing. And in the medical field, we have to have some type of guidelines that we must follow. So we use the best practice. We always say, what is the best practice? We got to have, so CDC, Central Disease Control, yes, we follow those guidelines. Because that's the best practice that we know. And I always am sharing information that I've received from a credible source, and then I leave it up to you to know that you anything I'm sharing, you still have to go talk to your own physician as to what's best for you, because everybody write their own book. You tell your own story. Your body tells its own story, and it's not always exactly what the textbooks say. Okay. And right first, we just want to kind of highlight and touch on the difference between cleaning, disinfecting, and sanitizing. Uh, uh, this has to do with where are the germs found. Germs are found everywhere, every day in life. There's no way to avoid germs. Some are helpful, some are harmful, and some will cause diseases. Um, you can find it in the air, in the soil, in the water, on your skins, in our bodies, on surfaces of objects that you touch. Sometimes germs are spread when you're sick. You can spread them when you're well, on your remote, TV remote, um, anything you touch, your nose, your face, your mouth, your hands, germs are everywhere. But the how do you avoid getting germs from? First, let me distinguish the difference. Cleaning. When you're cleaning something, you're removing dirt or dust or crumbs or germs from the surface of an object. And when you clean, you will most likely use soap or detergent and water, physically cleaning off that surface or object. You may not necessarily kill the germ, but you will remove it from the surface. That's what you do when you're washing your hands. That's why it's so important to rub and scrub and open your fingers, the back and the front. And like I say, the doctors, they go all the way up to the elbow, but we just kind of wash your hands with the running water, and the running water removes the germs. That's why they say that's kind of like the gold standard. Washing your hands is gold standards, okay? Now, when you're disinfecting, you're using a chemical. You're either using bleach or you're using alcohol, some type of alcohol solution. And that solution, in order to kill germs, must be at least 60% or more. You usually leave it, the disinfectant on that surface or that object for a certain period of time so that it can kill the germs. Disinfectant does not necessarily clean dirt surfaces or remove germs. Okay. Um, when you're sanitizing, it can be done either by cleaning, disinfecting, or both. Sanitizing meaning that you are lowering the number of germs in a to a safe level. Um, and it's considered safe, like in public health standards, and like what they use in the workplace and schools and restaurants. For example, uh, facilities that prepare food, they sanitize, like mopping and using water and chemicals to clean the surfaces, dishwashers that sanitize the dishes. Okay, now when you're using the difference between the hand sanitizers, and and I know because I've seen people, we don't use that correctly. You basically, it's not like soap and water because the germs, you're just killing them. So they still on you, you're killing them. And you put the sanitizer on your hand and you rub it and you allow it to dry like 20 seconds so that the germs are dead. So I always say if you're somewhere and there's soap and water, use soap and water. But if the soap and water is not available, then hand sanitizers is the next best thing. You cannot use hand sanitizers if your hands are very, very dirty. Then you really do need to find some soap and water. It's only with if you've been in church for a couple of hours and then you're going out to eat and the bathrooms they got a long line and you're ready to eat, you can use your hand sanitizers, but allow it to dry 20 seconds to get the best. Me myself, I will wait in the line so I can wash my hands, soap and water. So that's the difference between cleaning, disinfecting, and sanitizing in a short version. Okay, you have any?
So, yeah. So, what do you think about the use of gloves? Because I've noticed that I'm
Okay,
seeing gloves on the ground at stores, and it's like
okay,
that needs to go in the trash. What are your thoughts?
okay. From a professional point of view, gloves. If you're a professional, you know how to use gloves, and you know that once you use that glove to touch something, it's contaminated.
How do you use gloves?
So really and truly, the average person shouldn't use gloves
How do you use gloves?
because you talking about in the medical field or just
How should someone use gloves?
okay? Let me just tell you how I use gloves if I'm going to use gloves. I'm going into the store and I'm going to put my gloves on. Now, I in the store, everything the first thing that I touch is contaminated. So in that store, anything that you touch, you don't know who touched it, and you touch, and don't touch your face if you got gloves on. Okay, uh, uh, really and truly for the layperson, Amina, the best practice is no gloves. Is the best practice because the layperson does not understand that concept of once you touch something, it's contaminated. So those gloves should come off, throw away, and get some more. So you're in the reality is you'll be changing gloves every time you touch something. And at the same thing, let me say what I've witnessed. I've witnessed people behind the meat counter mopping the floor with gloves on, stop mopping the floor, come over to you and say, "May I help you?" with the same gloves on. No concept in their mind that they had to take those gloves off, wash their hands, and put some more. And I've seen it numerous times. So don't let the gloves on your hand fool you. Same way with even the cashiers in the store using gloves. That money is filthy, money is nasty. And the best thing to me is no gloves and just use your hand sanitizers. Use your hand sanitizers in those instances.
So I think that it sounds like there should be some type of training that these restaurants need to be doing, that these grocery
Absolutely.
stores need to be doing, because
Absolutely.
just because you buy a box of latex gloves, you got to train the staff on how to use those gloves. Because you're right,
Absolutely.
I've seen that too. I went and I bought food, and the cashier is handling the food with gloves on and handling my money and
Uh-uh.
cashing me out on the
No,
register. I'm like, you're not
no.
gonna change your gloves? And I say something, and everybody looking at me like, why did you say something?
Uh-huh.
I'm saying something.
And in some places, like if you go to the hospital, they will tell you, please remove your gloves. And there, when you walk in, there's a hand sanitizer dispenser for you to just clean your hands with the hand sanitizer when you go in and clean them as you come out. Same way with in a patient's, you visit a patient. This has been around for a long time in the hospitals where they had the dispensers outside of the patient's room. So you're visiting, you clean your hands before you go in, and after you leave, you clean your hands with the sanitizer. So most hospitals will not let you come inside with a pair of gloves on for that very reason. So
Oh, I
for
was
lay people, I would say you really don't need the gloves.
okay, and I was in Starbucks, and I seen the barista. She was making the coffee, and she didn't have no gloves on. So I'm hoping that they are washing their hands constantly, because they're touching around the rim of the mouth. And so you have to be extra careful when you're not wearing gloves to make sure you're washing your hands constantly, right?
Yes, I had a test done. I think it was a pulmonary function test done, and I was so impressed with the respiratory therapist because every time she did something, she stopped and touched something. She stopped and sanitized her hands. So in that instance, I'm saying hand sanitizer worked real good because she knows how to use it. Okay. At
Yeah.
some point, and it probably would be after she finished with me, she would physically wash her hands. She would physically wash her hands. But while she was dealing with me, she stopped and used her hand sanitizer. And we were together by probably 15 minutes. And I think she probably used that hand sanitizer at least 10 in between each thing that she did for me. And I was really impressed.
Well, that's good. Well,
Mhm.
what are some tips that you want to leave everybody with today as it relates to health and hand sanitizer? Real quick notes for them to jot down and remember.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I have a little cheat sheet here that I have here. Uh, right now, we're in the flu season, or headed to the flu season, and I would leave some things to help to boost your immune system. I'm always working with something to boost my immune system and my husband's immune system. So one of the things that we can do is try to eat healthy. When I say eat healthy, I'm talking about fruits and vegetables and whole grains and nuts and beans and other nutrients that promote balance. And then fuel your body with water, hydrate your cells, and help because it helps the food and your nutrients to digest. And then I'm not. I need to work on this part. Stay active. Um, keep a healthy weight. I have to work on those exercising because that keeps the cells in your immune system moving freely across your body when you exercise. And I do know that to be the truth. Okay. I say get enough sleep. Your immune system needs rest to avoid overworking. And that's when it works its best is when we're asleep. we're sleeping, but our body is doing rejuvenating and whatever generating so that it's get ready for the next day. um, Try to manage and reduce your stress. Your stress hormones are always acting, such as your cortisol, which suppresses the immune system. So try to do whatever it takes for you to relax and avoid stress. And for me, that sometimes it means turning the TV off, the news. Um, Limit drinking alcohol. Anything that you overdo is not a good thing. Um, Chronic alcohol consumption disrupts your immune system, but the doctors will recommend drinking in moderation, meaning maybe depending on your weight and size, how much as a glass of wine is okay. um, don't smoke. Cigarettes can always disrupt the body's capacity to fight infection. So, if at all possible, do whatever it takes to stop smoking. Don't smoke. Don't be around smoke. Keep your hands clean. Microorganisms like germs and bacteria and virus may enter your body and interfere with your immune system. So it's up to each individual to take it upon themselves to keep themselves safe. Um, and then it again, this is an individual choice. Consider taking the vaccines that are created to stimulate our immune system to fight specific illness and infections. Now, my husband and I, we choose to take the flu shot, and I've been taking it for quite a few years now. And yes, sometimes I get sick, but the understanding is that if you take the flu shot, you will not uh, be as sick as you would have if you hadn't taken it. So it's again, that's up to each individual. The one thing that they taught us in our nursing profession was every person has a right to say no. So you can exercise your right to say no. The other thing that I'd like to share with you that a lot of my information I get sometimes comes through those of you that are my wonderful age group, the senior citizens. AARP offers a wealth of information that's very helpful for the senior citizen. And I still stick with what the CDC recommend because for me that's credible information until it's been proved differently. Um, um, you need anything else, Amina?
No, you gave us a lot of information, Mom, and I'm sure someone has been inspired to be more aware about their cleanliness, to be more mindful to use hand sanitizer every time they touch something and keep their hands washed. So I'm sure somebody has found some value in everything that you said. But thank you for joining me, Mom, and I look forward to
Welcome.
more conversations.
All righty, Amina Rochelle.
All right.
Till the next time.
Till
Bye.
next time.